in the meantime, we're watching another story here, and that's the 2020 census, which is now expected to include a question about citizenship status. The population count taken every 10 years is required by the Constitution, and it is used to determine the number of seats each state has in the House. So it's important from that perspective, as well as how federal funds are distributed. Democrats are condemning this move, saying it would actually discourage immigrants from responding, which would cause a population undercount, and therefore they wouldn't be able to have as many representatives, say, from a state like California. California's attorney general, thus, is suing the Trump administration, saying, and I quote, "Including a citizenship question on the 2020 census is not just a bad idea, it is illegal." Joining me right now is Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano with his sense of whether it is, in fact, legal or not, and where do you come out?
It is legal to ask because the federal government has a legitimate interest in knowing that, but the government cannot compel the answer from the person asked because we have the right to remain silent.
Okay, so then the California AG really doesn't have much of a case.
First of all, it's premature because Congress hasn't decided this yet. This is just a proposal from the Commerce Department, which must file its proposal by the end of this week, and they filed it last night. Congress is not in session for the next 2 weeks. So we're going to debate this all over again when Congress is back there. But the only thing under the Constitution that the government can compel an answer to is how many human beings live in this house, not how many bathrooms do you have, what is your education, what is your nationality, and what is your citizenship. It can ask, but it can't punish you for not answering.
Okay, so it seems to me then fair to ask the question, and it's obviously an individual's decision as to whether or not they want to respond. But assuming that California is right and all the people that are here illegally decline to answer the question, does population count go down, and therefore does the number of representatives coming from a state like California go down?
That is a great question, and that would be exquisitely unfair to the rest of the country if California were to get more representatives in the House of Representatives because of more illegal or undocumented persons living in California. That is not the intent of the census, and that is not the purpose of the head count. So the federal government is going to have to find some other way to determine who is legitimately, lawfully residing in California without compelling people to answer. Now, I think a lot of people will answer anyway. I don't know if they'll answer truthfully or not. I think the Democrats do have an argument to make that people who are here unlawfully are not going to answer truthfully because they'll think it's going to trigger their deportation, although these questionnaires are anonymous.
Right. Different than, say, it was back when, during World War II, and you were making the point to me off camera that there were times in history that we have used the census to actually find people.
Yes, the Roosevelt administration in the census of 1940 not only asked if you're a citizen, it asked your nationality. And then when FDR and his colleagues decided to incarcerate Japanese Americans, they had the data to find them. Congress was so outraged by this that in 1947, FDR's dad, the war is over, that it enacted legislation prohibiting asking nationality, but did not prohibit asking citizenship.